For guys, matching shirts and ties and suits can be a daunting task, especially when you consider that a lot of guys are colorblind. For most, it's easier to put your solid white, solid blue shirt with your suit. We're going to give you some easy tips on how to coordinate. If you're wearing suits every day, hopefully you've moved beyond just your solids and you've added some patterned suits into your mix. I know a lot of guys are kind of terrified of patterns because they're like, how do I mix that with the shirts and the ties that I have in my closet? There's a couple of easy rules. It's all about proportion. For example, when you have a smaller patterned suit, like this micro houndstooth by Tiger Sweden, you want to make sure that the shirt has a bigger pattern than the suit. And the reverse, when you have a window pane pattern, which is a bigger pattern, put it with a smaller pattern. You want to make sure that when you're putting pattern and pattern together, one is bigger or smaller than the other one. So you don't want to have two patterns that are the same size. When it comes to your solid suits, have a little bit more fun. Get away from doing solid white, solid blue, or even white ground checks and plaids, and go for something that has more oomph and bolder colored check shirts. When you go to the tie table, you'll notice that there's a lot of different widths when it comes to ties. So some easy rules on matching it with your suits and also tie widths in general. The slimmer 2-inch tie really should not be worn for business unless you're in a really creative field or if you're going out at night. So these are the ties that are 2-inch and slimmer. They're definitely connotate more of a younger, youthful look. So if you're in finance, probably not a good idea. The great width right now for most guys is going to be 2.5 inches to 3 inches. And I tend to find if you're corporate guy, CEO, higher up on the ladder, you're really not going to follow into trends. So you're probably still wearing the wider ties that you were wearing a couple of years ago, and that's going to be at about 3.5 inches. When it comes to matching your ties with your pattern on pattern suit and shirt, the rule of thumb is that you want to have more ground cover. So what does that mean? It means you want to have a big swath of solid color in the tie to help ground the outfit. So when you've got two patterns, you don't want to have an overly busy pattern tie because it's going to be too confusing and too messy on your outfit. Another rule of thumb when you're mixing three patterns together is try to find one color that's consistent between all three. So for this one, we're going to pull up the brown of the suit, the brown on the shirt, and matching in the brown of the tie. Here's another example of a tie with a lot of ground cover, so a lot of solid blue, and then picking up the brown of the tie, the suit, and the shirt. So our next look where we've got again the tighter patterned shirt with the window pane check suit. We want to throw in a tie that's got lots of ground cover so it helps to ground the shirt. Another option is something like this in the jacquard, which is more, even though it's a two-tone color, it's more tonal so it looks more like a solid. So it also helps to ground the shirt. So for the solid suit and the non-white ground check shirt, a lot of guys can be, again, find this really daunting because how do you color coordinate this? Again, you really want to make sure that your tie has a lot of ground cover. Again, grounds the shirt, it doesn't make it look as busy. And this time, because the suit is solid, we're only going to pick up two coordinated colors, the orange in the shirt and the orange in the tie. There you go, guys, some easy tips on how to coordinate suits, shirts, and ties so you can be the best dressed guy in your office.